The galaxy believed Earth was weak. For many years, alien empires watched the small blue planet from far away. They saw humans fighting small wars. They saw humans divided by borders and politics. They saw one planet with no space empire. To them, Earth was easy. Far beyond Pluto, in the cold and silent dark of space, something massive was moving. It was not one ship. It was not 10. It was an armada. Thousands of alien warships moved in perfect formation. Long black hulls covered in heavy armor. Engines glowing red like burning stars. Weapons large enough to crack planets. At the center of the fleet was the flagship, longer than a human city. Inside it stood Supreme Commander Viekrel, leader of the invasion force. His eyes were fixed on a glowing image in front of him. Earth. Blue oceans. White clouds. Green lands. Primitive, he said calmly. Behind him, officers worked at their stations. Distance to solar system border, 2 days, one officer reported. Human defense level? Viekrel asked. Minimal. No large fleet detected. No deep space fortifications. Their military activity appears limited to their home planet. Viekrel gave a slow smile. Then this will be quick. The alien empire had expanded for centuries. Every world they targeted had fallen. Some resisted. Some begged. But all lost. Earth would be no different. The order was given. Advance. The armada moved forward. Inside Earth's solar system, everything looked peaceful. Satellites moved quietly around Earth. Trade ships traveled between Mars and Jupiter. Nothing looked unusual. But deep in the darkness between Neptune and the edge of the system, something unseen was listening. A small human station hidden inside an asteroid received a signal. Unknown fleet detected. Size, massive. Direction, direct path to Earth. The message traveled instantly through secure quantum relays. On Earth, in a silent underground command center, human officers watched the screen change color from blue to red. One officer spoke softly. They finally came. There was no panic. No shouting. Only calm faces. The message was sent across hidden channels. Phase 1 initiated. Back on the alien flagship, everything seemed perfect. The fleet moved closer. Scout ships were sent ahead to map the outer region of the solar system. Minutes passed. Then one scout signal disappeared. An officer looked confused. Commander, we lost contact with Scout 3. Viekrel did not look worried. Mechanical failure. Continue. 2 more scouts vanished. No explosion. No distress signal. Just silence. Now the command bridge grew tense. Commander, multiple scout ships have gone dark. Viekrel's eyes narrowed. Scan for mines. Scan for stealth units. Scanning, no objects detected. Space ahead looked empty. Cold. Still. Send more scouts, Viekrel ordered. 5 ships moved forward carefully. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then one by one. Their signals blinked out. Gone. The bridge became quiet. Not even debris appeared on sensors. It was as if the ships had never existed. Impossible, one officer whispered. Viekrel stepped closer to the main screen. Magnify that sector. The stars looked normal. Dark space. Distant light. Nothing else. But something felt wrong. For the first time, Viekrel felt uncertainty. Prepare long-range weapons, he said slowly. Full alert. The massive armada slowed its advance. Weapons powered up. Shields activated. Yet still, nothing appeared on scanners. Then a deep vibration passed through the flagship. Not an attack. Not a weapon hit. Something else. Energy surge detected behind us, an officer shouted. Viekrel turned. Behind us? That was impossible. They had scanned that region before entering the system. The main screen shifted. At first, there was nothing. Then space itself seemed to bend. Stars distorted. Darkness folded inward. And from that distortion, something massive began to appear. Not small. Not fragile. A ship. A human ship. But it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Its surface was dark and sharp like a blade. Blue energy lines glowed across its body. It was larger than the alien flagship. Much larger. The alien officers stared in shock. Commander, that vessel matches no known human design. Viekrel felt something he had not felt in many cycles. Doubt. The human ship did not send a message. It did not identify itself. It simply existed there, silent and powerful. And then, more distortions appeared. 1. 2. 10. Dozens of massive human warships uncloaked around the alien armada. They were surrounded. Completely. Viekrel whispered, humans were never weak. On Earth, in the underground command center, a human admiral watched the screen calmly. Welcome to our system, he said quietly. And then he gave the order. Do not let a single one leave. The stars outside grew brighter as weapons charged. And far across the galaxy, no one yet knew. The armada that came for Earth would never make it back. The alien armada had conquered hundreds of worlds. But they had never been surrounded. Not like this. Massive human warships floated in perfect silence around them. Dark hulls. Sharp edges. Blue energy glowing like cold fire. No fear. No warning. Supreme Commander Viekrel stared at the screen. How many? He asked. Unknown, an officer replied. They are blocking long-range scans. But estimates show at least 200 capital ships. 200. That was impossible. Humanity was supposed to have no deep space fleet. Viekrel's voice became sharp. Break formation. Prepare jump drives. The alien ships moved quickly, trying to spread out. Engines flared red. Energy shields brightened. Jump coordinates locked, an officer shouted. Execute. Nothing happened. The jump engines failed. Error signals flashed across every control panel. Commander, our drives are not responding. Another officer panicked. Gravity field detected. Artificial. We are trapped inside a massive containment zone. Viekrel understood. This was not an accident. This was a trap. Across the dark space near Jupiter, hidden structures activated. Huge ring-shaped stations powered up, invisible until this moment. They were placed years ago, disguised as normal asteroids. Now they formed a silent cage around the alien fleet. Inside Earth's command center, Admiral Hayes watched calmly. Gravity anchors stable, a technician reported. Good, Hayes said. Keep the door closed. The alien fleet had walked directly into the center of a human-made prison. Back on the alien flagship, fear slowly spread. Weapons ready. Viekrel commanded. Fire on the nearest human ship. Dozens of alien battleships fired together. Plasma beams cut through space. Missiles streaked forward like burning comets. The human ship did not move. Its shields activated at the last second. Blue light expanded around it. The alien fire struck. And disappeared. No explosion. No damage. The energy was absorbed like rain hitting the ocean. The alien bridge fell silent. That shield strength, an officer whispered. It is far beyond our calculations. Then the human ship responded. It fired one single beam. Just one. A focused blue line of energy crossed space in less than a second. An alien cruiser split in half. Clean. Precise. No warning. The broken ship drifted apart, engines dying. Shock spread through the armada. They destroyed a heavy cruiser with one shot, another officer said. Viekrel's hands tightened. Return fire. All ships. This time the alien fleet fired everything. Hundreds of weapons filled space with red light. But the human ships moved with calm precision. They did not rush. They did not shout. They moved like hunters. Human destroyers appeared behind alien lines. Smaller ships attacked weak points. Missile swarms cut through shield gaps. Alien ships began exploding one after another. Not chaos. Not random. It was controlled destruction. The aliens realized something terrible. The humans were not reacting. They were executing a plan. Deep inside one human supercarrier, Captain Elena Ward stood on the command deck. Target priority list, she asked. Flagship shield strength dropping slowly, her officer replied. Outer formation collapsing. Elena nodded. Do not destroy them too quickly. Keep them contained. She looked at the tactical map. The alien fleet was strong. But they were confused. And confusion was deadly. Back on the alien flagship, damage reports flooded in. Left flank destroyed. Support ships lost. Shield grid failing on multiple vessels. Viekrel's voice became desperate. Focus fire on one target. Break their line. The alien fleet concentrated fire on a human battleship. For the first time, the human ship's shields flickered. Viekrel saw hope. Again. All weapons. They fired everything. The human battleship's shield collapsed. For 1 second, it was exposed. But before the aliens could celebrate, 3 more human ships moved in front of it. They shared shield energy. The damaged ship pulled back safely. Viekrel stared in disbelief. They fight as one, he said. The aliens had always fought for victory. Humans fought for survival. And survival made them stronger. Suddenly, the battlefield changed. More distortions appeared in space. Additional human fleets jumped in from hidden positions near Saturn. The alien armada was now completely surrounded from every direction. No escape path. No reinforcements. Just human ships. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. Viekrel finally understood. The missing scout ships were not accidents. The empty space was not weakness. The silence was not fear. Humans had allowed the armada to enter deep into the system. They had waited patiently. And now the trap had closed. Viekrel whispered slowly, we were never invading. On Earth, Admiral Hayes gave the next order. Begin Phase 2. The human ships changed formation. Weapons powered up to higher levels. The real battle was about to begin. And the alien armada realized. They had not come to conquer Earth. They had come to disappear. The alien armada was breaking apart. Explosions flashed across the dark space near Jupiter. Large warships that once conquered entire systems were now burning in silence. Pieces of metal drifted slowly, glowing red before turning cold. But the alien flagship still survived. Supreme Commander Viekrel stood frozen, watching his fleet collapse. This is impossible, he whispered. Humans were not supposed to have this power. For centuries, alien observers had studied Earth. They saw human news broadcasts. They saw small rockets and simple space stations. They saw humans arguing with each other. They believed what they saw. That was their mistake. Deep under Earth's surface, in a command room built decades ago, old screens showed secret records. Admiral Hayes looked at the younger officers around him. "It started 100 years ago," he said calmly. "When our first deep space telescope detected unknown signals from outside the galaxy. At that time, humanity understood something simple. They were not alone. And if they were not alone, they were not safe. So Earth made a decision. Not public. Not political. Quiet. Human nations stopped fighting each other in secret meetings. They formed one hidden agreement. Project Aegis. Its purpose was simple. If the galaxy comes for Earth, Earth will be ready. Behind Jupiter's storms, shipyards were built inside massive metal shells. From the outside, they looked like natural gas clouds. Inside, millions of workers and advanced machines built something never seen before. Titan-class warships. Ships designed not to patrol. Not to explore. But to win. Asteroids were mined for rare metals. New shield systems were tested in secret. Artificial gravity weapons were created slowly over decades. Humanity continued acting weak in public. But in the dark, they prepared. Back in space, the alien flagship fired desperately at approaching human cruisers. "Commander, our right flank has collapsed," an officer shouted. Enemy reinforcements still arriving from Saturn region. Viekrel felt something heavy in his chest. Fear. Not fear of death. Fear of failure. "Scan the human fleet again," he ordered. "There must be a command ship." The scanners finally revealed something deeper in the battlefield. Far behind the front line. A massive object. Much larger than the others. It did not move quickly. It did not need to. The Titan-class flagship. Its surface looked smooth and dark like polished stone. Blue energy flowed across it like veins. Around it floated smaller support ships in perfect balance. "That ship is directing everything," an officer said quietly. Viekrel stared at it. "That is not a defensive fleet," he realized. "That is an execution fleet." On board the Titan-class supercarrier Resolute Dawn, Captain Elena Ward stood tall. She watched the battle calmly. Enemy fleet strength reduced by 40%, her tactical officer reported. "Good," Elena said. "Keep pressure on their engines. Do not allow retreat." She did not smile. She did not celebrate. Because this battle was not about victory. It was about sending a message. Back on the alien flagship, damage alarms screamed. Shield grid at 30%. Engine core unstable. Viekrel understood the truth too late. The aliens had studied human technology. But they had never studied human history. Humans survived ice ages. Humans survived world wars. Humans survived plagues and disasters. When threatened, humans did not panic. They adapted. And when given enough time, they prepared. The alien armada had believed Earth was divided. But they did not know about the silent unity built in fear of the unknown. Suddenly, a direct signal broke through to the alien flagship. Not a weapon. A message. Viekrel hesitated. "Open it." A human face appeared on the main screen. Calm. Steady. "Admiral Hayes. You entered our system without permission," Hayes said in a simple voice. "You destroyed our outer probes. You targeted our planet." Viekrel straightened. "We came to secure your world." Hayes shook his head slightly. "No. You came to test if we were weak." There was silence between them. Viekrel asked quietly, "Why hide your strength?" Hayes answered with simple words. "We did not hide. We waited. The screen went dark. The Titan-class supercarrier moved forward for the first time. Its main weapon began charging. Space around it vibrated. Energy built slowly, controlled, unstoppable. Viekrel felt the shift in power. The alien armada was now below half strength. Retreat was impossible. Victory was impossible. He finally understood the final truth. Humans had never tried to expand into the galaxy. They were not conquerors. They were guardians. And anyone who crossed their border without invitation would not return. On the human command deck, Captain Elena gave the next order. Lock onto the alien flagship. The massive cannon glowed brighter. Across the battlefield, every human ship paused for 1 second. As if the entire fleet breathed together. Then the light fired. And the real end of the alien armada began. The beam from the Titan-class supercarrier cut through space like a line of pure light. It struck the alien flagship directly. The shields shattered in seconds. Metal cracked. Energy systems failed. The massive warship trembled as alarms screamed across every deck. Inside the command bridge, sparks flew from broken panels. Officers were thrown to the floor. Smoke filled the air. Shield grid destroyed, one officer shouted. Primary weapons offline. Supreme Commander Viekrel held onto the command rail as the ship shook violently. For the first time in his long military life, he understood something clearly. They were not losing a battle. They were being erased. Outside, the rest of the alien fleet was collapsing. Human ships moved with cold precision. No wasted shots. No loud celebration. Just controlled strikes. One alien cruiser tried to break formation and ram through the human line. Before it could move far, 3 human destroyers surrounded it. Blue beams pierced its engines. The cruiser went dark, drifting helplessly. Another alien battleship attempted to overload its core, trying to take human ships down with it. Human fighters sliced through its weapon mounts before it could detonate. Every move the aliens tried had already been expected. Every escape path was closed. The trap was perfect. Back on the damaged flagship, emergency lights flickered red. "Commander," an officer said weakly, "we are receiving another transmission from Earth." Viekrel looked at the broken screen. "Put it through." The human admiral appeared again. This time, his face was closer. Calm. Almost sad. "You still have time," Admiral Hayes said. "Order your fleet to power down. Surrender, and your crews will live." The bridge fell silent. Viekrel stared at him. "You could have destroyed us at the edge of your system," he said slowly. "Why let us come this far?" Hayes answered without hesitation. "Because the galaxy needed to see this." Viekrel understood. This was not only defense. This was a warning. The humans were sending a message beyond this battlefield. Touch Earth. And disappear. Around them, the last alien ships were falling. Explosions faded into silence. The once proud armada was now scattered debris across the stars near Jupiter. Viekrel looked at his officers. Some were injured. Some were afraid. But all were loyal. He could surrender. He could live. But the empire that sent him would call him weak. Slowly, he straightened his uniform. To all remaining ships, he transmitted across the fleet, "Fight until the last." There were only a few ships left to hear it. On Earth's command deck, Captain Elena listened to the final alien broadcast. "They choose pride," she said quietly. Admiral Hayes closed his eyes for a brief second. Then end it. The Titan-class supercarrier charged again. This time, the weapon did not fire at the center of the alien ship. It targeted the engines. The beam struck. The flagship's propulsion core shattered instantly. The giant vessel lost power. Its weapons went dark. Its command systems failed. It floated helplessly. Alive. But defeated. Human boarding ships moved in carefully, surrounding it. The battle was over. Inside the broken flagship, Viekrel felt the silence. No more explosions. No more commands. Just the quiet hum of emergency power. A human signal came through one last time. "This is your final chance," Hayes said. "Stand down." Viekrel looked at the stars outside the damaged window. His fleet was gone. The Empire would never receive his victory message. Instead, they would receive nothing. No signal. No survivors escaping into hyperspace. Only silence. He lowered his head. "Stand down," he ordered softly. Across the remaining alien ships, weapons powered off. Engines shut down. The armada that came to conquer Earth had fallen without reaching it. Far beyond the solar system, alien listening posts waited for updates. Days passed. Then weeks. No fleet returned. No signal arrived. Only one broadcast moved through deep space, repeating on open frequency. A human voice. "Earth does not seek war. But Earth will defend itself." And across the galaxy, civilizations began to understand. Earth was not weak. Earth was watching. And the armada that came for it would never make it back. The battlefield near Jupiter slowly became quiet. Wreckage drifted in silence. Broken alien ships floated between the planets. Small fires burned for a short time, then faded into darkness. Human recovery vessels moved carefully through the debris field. They rescued survivors. They secured dangerous reactors. They collected every piece of alien technology. Nothing was left to chance. On the bridge of the Titan-class supercarrier Resolute Dawn, Captain Elena Ward watched the final reports. "Enemy fleet neutralized," her officer said. "Survivors contained. No escape signals detected." Elena nodded slowly. "Good. Begin cleanup phase." There was no cheering. No celebration. Only quiet understanding. Humanity had just fought its first full war against an alien empire. And they had won. On Earth, the world did not see the battle live. Most humans never knew how close destruction had come. The governments released only a short statement. An unidentified hostile fleet entered the solar system. The threat has been removed. Earth is secure. People looked at the sky that night without fear. They did not know that thousands of ships had once moved toward them with plans of conquest. They only knew that they were safe. Far beyond human space, in distant star systems, alien civilizations waited. The empire that sent the invasion armada was powerful. Many feared them. When the armada left, spies and traitors had tracked its path toward Earth. Everyone expected news of victory. Instead, there was silence. Weeks passed. Then a strange signal began to spread across long-range communication networks. It was simple. Clear. Repeated on open channels. A human transmission. Unidentified fleet entered solar system without permission. Fleet destroyed. Survivors detained. Further aggression will be treated the same. No threats. No insults. Just facts. The message moved from system to system. Governments listened carefully. Military leaders studied it. And fear began to change direction. In the capital world of the alien empire, panic spread through the High Council. "How can an entire armada vanish?" one leader demanded. They faced a primitive species. But the reports from distant sensors confirmed the truth. Energy readings near Jupiter. Massive weapon discharges. Gravitational containment fields never recorded before. The Empire had underestimated humanity. And now, their strongest fleet no longer existed. For the first time in centuries, that empire stopped expanding. They pulled their borders inward. They strengthened defenses. They did not speak Earth's name loudly anymore. Months later, a small diplomatic vessel approached the edge of the solar system. It did not come with weapons powered. It did not hide. It sent a request before crossing the outer boundary. Permission to enter for peaceful dialogue. On Earth, Admiral Hayes received the message. He allowed himself a small smile. "Open a channel," he said. Humanity had not sought war. But now the galaxy understood something important. Earth was not prey. Earth was not divided. Earth was prepared. Deep in space, the Titan-class fleets remained active. Hidden bases continued operating behind gas giants. New ships were still being built quietly. Because humans remembered history. Peace was safest when strength stood behind it. Captain Elena stood alone at the observation window of her ship. Stars stretched endlessly before her. "We showed them," her officer said quietly. Elena shook her head slightly. "No," she answered. "We reminded them." She looked toward the distant stars beyond the solar system. Somewhere out there, other civilizations were watching. Learning. Thinking carefully before making their next move. Humanity did not need to chase them. Humanity only needed to defend its home. And so the story spread across the galaxy. Not as a legend. Not as a myth. But as a warning. An alien armada had targeted Earth. Thousands of ships. Full invasion force. Confident. Powerful. Certain of victory. But they never reached their target. They never returned home. Because in the darkness of space, humanity had been waiting. Silent. Patient. Ready. And from that day forward, whenever military commanders in distant systems studied potential targets, they always paused at one name. Earth. And then they moved on. Because some worlds were not meant to be conquered. Some worlds were meant to be respected. And humanity had earned that respect.